So do you have a horse that maybe takes a little bit long to warm up and be at its best? Or perhaps it's a really difficult saddle fit. It could have inconsistent lead changes or difficulty with the lead changes in one direction, just sort of general inconsistencies, or the inability to turn and flex in one direction as well as the other direction. And sometimes horses, they have problems leading from a deep or a long distance. Well, these are things that if you've been riding for any length of time, you've probably experienced. And they're all things we've tried to ride through and hide in the show ring. And this is sort of where I live. We're just about to kick off our show season. So I think it's really important to have a conversation about the way we train horses. Where do we want our horse to be? Of course, we want to peak for the horse show this weekend. However, that can't be the end of it. We have to look at where we want our horses to be 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. How about 3 years from now, or even 5 years from now? We want to be laying down foundations in our training that help to prepare the horse's body so that we can move up through the levels more seamlessly in under tack training. And a lot of that work happens on the ground. Now, I often see people trying to do pre-workout stretching passively. It's not uncommon for me to walk into a barn and see that. And I've actually written quite a bit on why I don't like pre-workout stretching. I say there's 4 myths to stretching that people don't know, they're not aware of. And in trying to stretch their horses and trying to do something to be beneficial, one of the things I want to focus on is people are trying to get their horses flexible this way. And I'm going to argue that we don't actually want flexible horses. We want supple horses, and we want horses with good range of motion. But did you know that if you try and attain those ranges of motion using passive stretching, it's not going to work? The nervous system doesn't actually have access to those ranges of motion in locomotion. So it doesn't translate. So just because you pick up your horse's front leg and pull it forward and hold that stretch does not mean you're going to increase his movement capacity and ability. In fact, what we want to be looking at is using dynamic range of motion exercises, or I call them DMEs for short. And the difference is, in a dynamic exercise, the horse has more control over, it's done dynamically instead of passively, and more control over where they're putting their body. This is important for several reasons. First of all, we can use it as an assessment tool. We can actually match up some of the weaknesses and dysfunctions in their movement and their way of going under tack with how they respond to doing these exercises. And it's a great assessment tool. And next, when we go through these exercises and we stay at them, and all you really need is 5 minutes a day for 4 times to 7 times a week. That's really all it takes. It's not a big investment in time. But with consistency, what ends up happening is these horses have increased range of motion that they do, in fact, have access to in locomotion. But what's brilliant about it is they have control of that range of motion where they don't from passively attained flexibility. And they begin to have strength in those ranges of motion. And that strength can help to stabilize the joints, especially in the back, which is where we sit. So it's incredibly important. Right? So horses that have experienced any period of back pain, and I'm going to say that, in our one-on-one bodywork practice, we see a lot of horses that have experienced back pain for one reason or another. And one of the things that is very common amongst all of those situations is those horses. So horses have short back muscles and long back muscles. So horses who've experienced a period of back pain, the short back muscles actually become a little bit inactive or even atrophied, which puts those long back muscles into spasm. And people mistake this for a horse that has poor saddle fit, but it's actually not that. And dynamic mobilization exercises are one of the ways to keep those short back muscles healthy and functioning for the long term, right? So we're looking at stabilizing these joints, preventing osteoarthritic changes, which can be potentially career ending for a horse. And we're looking at developing a body that has strength and control so that we can go on and be better athletes. We're putting an education and a foundation into the horse so that our riding can just be the application to that education. And that's what the DME's challenge is all about. So some of the things that people say in that 3-week period, and we do 3 weeks very intentionally because you're going to start to see results within 3 weeks. And I know that sounds absolutely too good to be true, but I guarantee you'll be quite amazed. For just 5 minutes a day in that 3-week period, people start to see postural changes in their horse. On the cross ties, they begin to feel postural changes and more ability for self-carriage with their horses under tack. They begin to see top line changes in their horse, right? So, and even more symmetry from left and right. So they don't have such dominant sides anymore because horses are born either left or right handed. And, we have to train in the ability to be ambidextrous for sport. And these are some of the exercises that actually help do that for the horse. So things that are commonly needed amongst all sports, we look at them. We help assess your horse and your riding, match up what's going on in the challenge. And this is all work that's done on the ground before you ride. So you'll be able to say, my horse is having problems doing X, Y, Z under tack, and we'll be able to find correlations when we do these dynamic mobility exercises. So we're about to have this 3-week challenge. I'm so excited to be hosting it. It is our 4th cycle of the challenge. We have special guests. We are having a private Facebook group, and we're also having email content. So you will be getting all of your PDFs and your instructions and your check-ins once and twice a week through email. And then all of the group coaching that happens will happen in this incredibly fun and supportive Facebook group where you can post videos, you can ask questions, you can chat with the other people in the challenge. And we'll be looking at things that will also help develop certain skills for sport down the road. We have a special guest chiropractor, and she has offered to do an incredible segment where you can ask a chiropractor, we can talk exercise physiology, and you will get daily check-ins and coaching in that Facebook group. So we're very excited to be doing this. It is a fundraiser where we'll be giving $20 of each entry to a program called the Grit Team. And the Grit Team is a program, it's a team of young podium-bound athletes, and it helps them because it enriches their programming both as human athletes, and it also teaches them about horsemanship and developing their horses as athletes. So it's a great cause. And it's kind of a win-win. So in 3 weeks, you're going to see real life changes with your horse, and you're going to be helping out other riders. So look forward to seeing you in the challenge this year. And if you have any questions at all, hit reply to this email, and we will absolutely get back and make sure that you know if this program is right for you.